So I hope I make my presentation very simple. So in order to understand the usage of Azure AI Content Safety Studio. So thanks for joining that Friday late evening. I appreciate everyone's effort for joining this meetup. And thanks, Nandeep, for providing me the platform as well as opportunity to present this topic. So today's topic is Unleash the Potential of Azure AI Content Safety Studio. So before get started, this is a few things about me. So I'm working in Eviden as a technical manager, and I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. And I used to talk in forums as well as global speaker for the events like Global AI Bootcamp as well as Azure Forum. And currently, I'm holding 15 multi-cloud certifications across different hyperscalers. So these are some of the certifications I have achieved. So this is today's agenda. So we will discuss what is the usage of Azure AI content safety and different product types related to content safety. And what are the unique capabilities are we going to build Azure AI Content Safety Studio? So before Content Safety Studio, what has happened, and after Content Safety Studio launch, what are the quite variations we will see in the field of the Content Safety Studio? And finally, we will discuss about the Safety Studio pricing model. The major usage of Azure AI Content Safety Studio. So in the today's world environment, especially in the Gen AI platform, we may have a lot of different types of contents available in terms of text, in terms of images, but you want to create a secure online spaces where your text content as well as image content, it should be safe and secure. For that purpose, Microsoft Azure AI has recently launched Azure AI Content Safety Studio in order to moderate different types of contents available in the market. And with this Azure AI Content Safety Studio, you may able to moderate text moderation, you may able to moderate image moderation with a different severity levels. So Microsoft Content Safety Studio has been classified into different severity levels, and we will able to prioritize the corresponding business, what content has to go on live and what content has to reject from the Content Safety Studio. That is the overall standard. Do we really require this type of content has to be published or not? And even this Azure Content Safety Studio, the content moderation is available as a preview mode in your Azure OpenAI service as well. This Content Safety Studio is a new service which is used to detect both the human generated content as well as the AI generated content available in the Azure space. And this Azure AI Content Safety is being integrated with the different Microsoft products like Azure OpenAI Service as well as the machine learning prompt flow. So these are the two popular services your Azure AI Content Safety has been launched. And under your Azure OpenAI service, this Content Safety Studio still it is in the preview mode. So in a month or two, this will become a general available. And in the machine learning prompt flow, already the Content Safety Studio is in live. You can make use of that stuff when you go for content moderation related to text as well as image. So there are two types of products available as part of Microsoft Azure AI concern related to content safety. One is image detection API, the other API which is called as text detection API. So under text detection API, you are going to scan different type of content related to different severity level. Whether the content is a violence content, whether the content is a self-harm or else a sexual content, different severity level, your content is going to be populated, and we are going to assign the severity level, whether this content is accepted or not. That is the actual purpose of text detection API. Similarly, we'll able to detect the image detection API, where it is going to scan the complete image and moderate the content on the different severity levels, like sexual content, visual, hate, as well as self-harm content. So with this two product type, you can moderate both text as well as your image based content. This content, it is leads to large language model. As of now, the multi-model support functionality, it is still in the private preview. If you are sign up for the Microsoft form in order to do the multi-model content, still you can go ahead and do that. That is one of the update related to the product type. So these are the unique capabilities the Azure Content Safety Studio has. One is different types of classification related to content. One of these are the four classification, and every content classification has assigned a severity scores, like zero is your low severity score, two is medium, your high, and it is severe. So that's how this severity scores has been high. 6 is the high and the low is 0. That is the severity scores. And this Azure Content Safety Studio, it is supported in multilingual models, like nearly 8 languages it is supporting, starting from English, German, French, Spanish, Italian, Japanese, Chinese, and Portuguese. Nearly 8 languages your Azure AI Content Safety Studio supports. So in which are the applications you can make use of this Azure Content Safety Studio is? One is semantic understanding related to natural language processing, leveraging a natural language understanding, natural language generation, your large language model, your large multi-model, all type of leveraging the online content in order to make your workspace in a safe and secure. You can go for this Azure Content Safety Studio. And even the Azure Content Safety Studio, it is going to be available in the computer vision as well as the real-time scenario as well. So these are the applications where you can make use of the Azure Content Safety Studio. Along with that, before the Content Safety Studio, we used to perform all the content manual work, where you will be playing one of the rule-based filtering to filter out the unwanted content, which is not going to be accepted as part of the content moderation. So what is the major drawback or the pitfall of the before Content Safety Studio? If you notice that the response you are getting is pretty much slow. So in order to break these silos, we have moved towards the Content Safety Studio with the help of the Azure Microsoft platform. And what is the struggle is, as in when the digital content grows high, you may not have the bandwidth to support those manual filtering. So that's what we are moving towards the Content Safety Studio. So this is before Content Safety Studio. So let's see after Content Safety Studio. So there is a separate URL for the Content Safety Studio has been launched. So as of now, we are able to moderate the text content as well as we're able to moderate the image content. So these two contents are already available in the Content Safety Studio. And if you want to moderate the multi-model content, it is still available in the private preview. If you want to sign up, based upon the use cases, you can make available this particular service. In a month or two, this will become your general available. So other than this, what functionalities this Content Safety Studio offers is you'll able to monitor the different type of content moderation in the online manner, like 15 days once, like 24 hours, like a month's time, what are the content being accepted or what are the content being rejected. Those monitoring we'll able to see in the monitoring online activity. But still, custom solution is not yet built in that tool, but we'll able to build your own custom moderation in your Python code. That functionality is possible related to Content Safety Studio. So these are the severity levels for four classification: violence, self-harm, sexual, hate severity. And we have a severity scores like safe, low, medium, high, 0, 2, 4, 6. Those are the severity scores available for the severity levels. And where you can make use of this content safeties today, especially in the gaming, online marketplaces, social messaging platforms, your enterprise media companies, your education solution provider companies, where you can make use of the content safety studio. So as of now, the content safety studio is limited to the region. So these two regions, the content safety studio is generally available, especially East US as well as West Europe. So let's begin in terms of the demonstration part. I believe my Microsoft Azure portal is visible to everyone. You can give thumbs up.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. So how will you create a content safety? Okay. You just type content safety here. So under content safety, just hit the button create. The first and foremost, in order to create any content safety studio, ensure that you should have a valid subscription, and we have to use a resource group. A resource group is a service where all Azure resources are being placed. So I'm going to create a resource called as content safety. This is a resource. This resource is going to be placed under one resource group. If I delete this resource group, the services as well as the resources which is present under this resource group will be deleted. So I'm using the existing resource group. So I have an existing resource group called as test RG, or else you can use your new resource group creation also. And as of now, I mentioned the content safety studio is available in two regions. One is your East US, the other region is available is West Europe. So these two regions, only the content safety studio is available. So I have chosen the region as East US. Afterwards, we have to provide the content safety studio name. So I'm providing the content safety studio name as retail content safety demo. And the pricing tier, I'm not using any free pricing tier. Let's go for the standard pricing tier to get all the benefits of the service. So that's it. So your content safety resource is ready now. So you have provided a valid subscription, resource group, and you are given the name of the content safety and which region this content safety is going to deploy, and you have chosen the pricing tier. And hit the button review plus create. So it will check for the validation. So once the validation is passed, you may able to hit the button create. So now the deployment started initializing. Once the deployment is initializing, you may be able to see the deployment is submitted. So in a minute or two, this will become successful. So parallelly, let me have, if you have any questions, please, you can tell me, guys. Meanwhile, I can take some questions. Any questions on the chat? Okay. So now the deployment is completed right away. You can see that the deployment part. And just go to the resource. So there are two essential information you require if you are going to customize this particular content deployment solution. One is your key and the endpoint. This key and the endpoint is ideally required in order to customize any Python related code. Okay. So other than that, you can see in the overview tab, you may be able to notice there is a content safety studio menu. If you click this, you will reach out to this particular window. So in this window, there are pretty much important capabilities are there. One is your moderate text content. This is going to moderate the text reduction API. Moderate image content. This is going to moderate your image moderation. And moderate multi-model content. This is still in the private preview. The first one, we will move on to the moderate text content. Let's hit this button. So there are standard examples that are already provided by the Microsoft Azure OpenAI. You can notice this is the content. What is the content is chopping tomatoes and cut them into cubes and wedges are great ways to practice your knife skills. So for this type of content, is it a safe content or the content is accepted or rejected? You can give your reactions tab. If it is a safe content, you can say thumbs up. If it is not if the content is rejected, so no need to provide any responses. So let's have a quick check. Is it content is accepted or the content is rejected? You can raise your hand on the reactions tab. So I think I got the response. So it is says that if you run this test, this particular content is accepted. I can see the content has been accepted, and look at that severity scores. There is no harmful. There is no high severity scores. All are safe. The next one is the dog was given some injection due to severe leg bleeding. So what type of this content? Is this content is accepted or it is rejected? Let's check it out. You can see. Because there is a violence there, it was bleeding, severely bleeding and exposing tissue and nerve. And look at the severity, it is a violence content, and look at the severity score, it is a medium. So likewise, you may able to moderate the text content. Okay. So similarly, you can use multilingual languages in a single sentence also. So that is also possible. So painfully twist his arm and then punch him in the face and have a multilingual sentence is also available. Is this content is accepted or rejected? Let's check it out. Let's run this test. So this content has been rejected because of it is a violence content. And you can see the severity scores also. So likewise, you may able to upload your content here, and even you may able to test with a large data set also. So I have a data set with a safe content data set with multiple languages. So this data set nearly contains 200 records in multiple languages like English, Chinese, French, and all. I want to notice that is this content is a safe content or it is a reject, this content is rejected. Let's have a look. So how many items I'm detecting in this data set? There's 200 items I'm detecting, and every record is having a respective label within it. And you can notice that also in the time duration. So it start detecting the items from 1 to 200. And you can see how much percentage of content has been accepted here. You can see it is 98 percentage of content has been accepted, only 3 percentage of the content being rejected. Every data set name I have written and the respective labels also available, and you can see that content scores also. And if you want to your own customized content, I'll show on the Python code also. So this is related to text content moderation. Suppose if I want to moderate the image content, you can go and try this. So very important policy from the responsible AI, which means any image, the Microsoft Azure has a policy says that all the images by default, it will be blurred image as part of the privacy policy. Here you can notice that this is an image I'm going to moderate. Is the image is being accepted or rejected? So by default, it was a blurred image. You can unblur it. So now you can notice this content, image content is accepted. If I run this test, you may able to see there is no violence, there is no self-harm, there is no sexual, there is no hate. So all are safe. Let's look at the next self-harm content. This self-harm content, if you notice that it is a self-harm and it is a violence content. Let's look at whether the content has been accepted or rejected. You can see it is a self-harm content, it is rejected. And look at the severity scores, it is a high severity score. So likewise, you can able to test with this content with a large data set also, that is possible. So let's test the data set of the multi-risk categories. So almost 19 records are there. Let's check it out. All these images will accept the content or not. So among these 19 images, 84% of the content has been accepted and 16% of the content being rejected. And you can see that machine learning metrics is also precision, recall, FN score because it is works under the algorithm called a supervised learning algorithm. And especially it is a classification technique because the metrics represents precision, recall, and FN score. These are the metrics of classification technique as part of the supervised learning as concerned. The next one is so now we are done. Image moderation is done. Your text moderation is done. How come your manager knows you're done these many content moderation related to text, these many moderation related to image? So there will be a monitoring dashboard which is available. How much of content for the past month's time, for the past 7 days, or for the past 24 hours, or the past 30 days, or even your custom model. If the media type is text, look at the responses, how much of severity based on the category like violence content, these much of accepted, your rejection rate in terms of dashboard metrics, your violence severity score in terms of this metrics, all you may able to see that is the power of the content safety. Are you guys able to follow this? You can give
Yeah.
a thumbs up. Okay. Similarly, you can see that if you want to block any particular terms in your data, you can see that list also. As of now, there is no blocked terms. So that's why there is no data yet. So this is related to the media type is text. Similarly, the media type image is also applicable. So you can see the image like the API request a traffic from the date variation you can see. Similarly, the response latency in terms of milliseconds, how much priority rate, how much average priority, those rate also you can see, and how much severity based upon the category, whether it is your violence category, self-harm category, rejection rate. So that is also possible to detect. And the media type related to multi-model content, it is still in the preview phase, yet to be come in the general availability. So these are the things content moderation related to the content safety, image moderation related to content safety. Suppose if you are a Python developer, how to do from the code, how to moderate your content. So for that, I have used a Python code for this. So look at the Python code. If you notice that I have imported the package OS package content safety package. So here I have written a function called as analyze text. From the content safety studio, I have taken the endpoint and the key. So these two are the essential parameters required in order to perform analyzing the text moderation. First, we will be creating a content safety client. In the content safety client, you are passing two parameters. One is the endpoint, the second one is the key you are passing. So afterwards, you have to build a request. When I say you needed to, in order to build a request, you need a class to do that. What is the class we will be using in order to build the request is analyze the text option. This is a class. From this class, you have to pass one parameter. And since it is a text, I'm passing a text, some input I have passed. So what is the input I'm passing is sharp knife will aid in chopping body parts. So this content, if you notice that it is not accepted, this content is a rejected content because it is a violence will be there. And I'm saying chopping the body parts. It is a sexual content is also available. So you have to moderate this content. So inside the try catch block, I have called the function called as analyze text and I'm passing the request. And in the exception, I'm printing the error code and the message. What are the error code and the message I'm printing is if it is a hate severity, this one will be printed. If it is a self-harm, the number will be printed. If it is a sexual severity, the number will be printed and violence severity like 0, 2, 4, 6, those responses will be printed. And I'm calling the function here. So let's execute this code. Python sample 1.py. So there is no hate severity. That's what it is 0. And look at the self-harm severity because it is a knife skill practice, self-harm and chopping body parts. That is a sexual severity. Again, violence severity is also there. So that's what the response of 440. So is this content is accepted or the content is rejected as part of the content moderation is concerned? Is it accepted, guys, or rejected?
Rejected.
It is a rejected content. Excellent. So similarly, I will be performing one more example related to image part. So here in the image part, the same classes we'll be using. And instead of analyzing the text, I'm written a function called as analyze an image, endpoint key, and we have to provide the image path. Okay. And the same creation of content safety client, you have to you're passing the endpoint, you're passing the key information. And now you are going to read the entire image. So how will you be reading the entire image? The image will be present in this particular locality, and I'm calling the image path. Then afterwards, when you call that analyze image functionality, you are passing the image data. When I say image data, that is the image path. The same thing I'm passing, nothing changed. But you should know what is this I2 image, I2 JPG, and let's see what is that image. Let me show the image. What is that? Let me share my screen. So this is the image i2.jpg. Okay. So I was started chopping the tomatoes and I got hurt. Now you just tell me, is that image is what type of severity? It is a self-harm or violence or it is your sexual severity? Any answers? Yeah, my screen is not visible. Okay, self-harm. Okay. So let's check it out the result. You can see self-harm, sexual violence severity because there is a knife, there is a blood, and there is a chopping your self-harm severity. What about this image? Let me show the next image. What about this image? Is it a self
It's
harm
also
or else
violence.
violence, right? Let's see. Violence is 2 and the rest of the things are 0. Are you able to see this? Okay, next is, so these are the important stuff related to the service limit. So in terms of pricing tier, we have for the standard pricing tier, how many images, how many requests per second you can send? There's 5 requests you can send for the free pricing tier. For the standard pricing tier, 10 requests per second you can send your service limit as well as the query rate. And this is your pricing model cost. So for the free pricing tier, text to moderation is 5,000 text records per month. Image is 5,000 image per month. And the standard image, this is the cost. 0.75 per 100 records, text records, and 1.5 dollar per 100 record images. So this is your pricing model related to content safety. Another beauty thing in terms of this content safety is this content safety, it is available in the preview option when you go for the Azure OpenAI Studio. In the Azure OpenAI Studio, if you notice that the content safety studio is already launched, it is still in the preview option. Let me show that. So content filters, it is still in the preview mode. You can see. You may be able to moderate your content from the ChatGPT version also. For example, if you ask a question to GPT model, how to cut my fingers, you can see the content moderation. It is not passing. It is filtered now. So that's it, guys. Let me open the session for Q&A. Can we have Azure Content Safety as an extension of sentiment analysis? Answer is yes. It is an extension of sentiment analysis. Yes. Any other questions?
Yes, guys, you can just unmute yourself and ask your queries if you have any.
Okay, looks like we don't have any questions or some, anything. Yes, Sudarshan,
Yes, I
you
have
have
a
any
question.
question? Yeah, go
So
ahead.
this will only, uh, I mean, try to check whether only questions or it will try to check even on answers also. For example,
Answers.
if you write any prompts
Hmm.
to the OpenAI,
Hmm.
then it will provide some results, right? It will check those also, or it will check only the prompts.
Prompt. So this is not as part of the content safety. It is a violation. You should not type any PII information, PHI information. It will not accept.
Okay. So actually, can you show how we can? I mean, in OpenAI, is it content safety is defaultly built or?
It is by default. It is built, and now you can see the still that filter. It is in preview mode. Content filter is still in the preview mode.
Okay. So what is the difference between this content filters in this and the separate content filters?
The separate content filters you may able to use for your LLM and LMM, and your ChatGPT version of Azure OpenAI, you may able to moderate your text related content if someone is typing an unwanted content. It has helped us to secure that environment in a safe place. We should not provide any responses for those questions.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. After identifying the category, does it provide any provision for further action like deletion? So it will not, no need to delete, it will automatically moderate the content. It will not give any response. Any more questions? And those who want to connect on me on LinkedIn, you can connect me on the LinkedIn. This is my QR code.
Thank you very much, Janarthanan.
And
Thank